Hello, I'm State Representative John Kavanagh with another edition of Kavanagh's Corner, this one for the week of May 16th, 2022. Three of my bills finished in both chambers and are on their way up to the governor's office, hopefully for signature. The first of those bills has to do with instruction in schools and remembrance of the 9/11 tragedy. I think this one will be signed by the governor because he requested that I run it. And it would require on each 9/11, or if that's not a school day, a neighboring day, that the schools have a remembrance and some instruction on the 9/11 tragedy. So that was the first one that got passed out. The second bill that's been passed out and is also going to the governor has to do with banning the unjustified blacklisting of certain dog breeds for homeowners insurance. Some, but not all, insurance companies do not issue liability insurance policies for homeowners if they have certain breeds which have been deemed to be dangerous, like pit bulls, or some charge more money. There's a problem with that, though, and that is that there is no sound actuarial evidence that says that those breeds are in fact more dangerous. Beyond that, most dogs actually aren't purebred. So even people who think they have a purebred dog actually have a mixed breed, which is not subject to the increased insurance by these companies. And of course, we may never know if any breeds are actually more dangerous, because while insurance companies may be able to get counts from the government on the number of bites by certain breeds, there is no census of the total number of dogs for each breed. And if you don't have the denominator, you can't predict the percentage. And finally, a recent study, the best that has been done to date, on behavior and dog breed showed that only about 9% of a dog's behavior is in fact determined by their breed. There were only two exceptions. Interestingly, border collies by breed are extremely well trainable, and hound dogs by breed bay at the moon. But other than that, in terms of viciousness or violence, there's no justification. So this bill prohibits the assigning of extra policy premiums or banning based solely on a dog's breed, and we did get the insurance companies to agree. The third bill is a bill that will permit people who live in HOAs that ban the flying of flags for first responders to allow it. Now, there are a small number of what I call HOAs from hell that have very restrictive policies. I was contacted by a citizen that his HOA would not allow the flying of first responder flags which honor our police, fire, and emergency medical personnel. So I ran a bill that said HOAs cannot ban these flags. In the middle of this process, I was contacted by somebody else, a woman, who said her HOA will not allow for the flying of Gold Star or Blue Star banners. Now, this goes back to, I think, World War II, where if you had a son in the military who was killed in action, you could put a gold star in your window. And if you had somebody who was in the service in your family, you could put a blue star in your window, a recognition of the sacrifice that the family is making. Amazingly, a couple of HOAs said you can't have those banners. So I amended it onto the bill, and if the governor signs this bill, then these families will be able to proudly proclaim the service of their children in the military. So that's Kavanaugh's Corner for this week. So hang on until next week, where I hope to have a few more of my bills signed into law. So I'm State Representative John Kavanagh, and another edition of Kavanaugh's Corner is over. Thanks for listening.